Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have here with me Mr. Robert Thomas. He is running for U.S. Congress. No, pardon me. He is running for state representative. I jumped the boat a little bit. He's running for state representative, District 15, and so he'll be on the ballot for the same race that Mr. Eisler is. Mr. Thomas, you have approximately 4 minutes to address the group and convince us that you're the man for the job.
Okay, good deal.
And then we'll go into question and answer mode for the first. We've given you 2 slots, as I've communicated to your secretary.
Okay.
So we'll let you call the end, because I understand you need to leave early.
Okay, thank you. First, let me say thanks to everybody for coming out. I'm probably not the best at getting up here and talking about myself, so I'll keep it as short as I can, and I'll just make as much time as we can for questions, so you can kind of get to know me. I'm 37 years old. I live here, obviously, in Montgomery County. I've got 2 children, a wife, a dog that was run over about 3 hours ago that we're in the vet with. He's okay, thank goodness. My wife ran him over. He's okay. He was just a scratch, but I thought I was going to be late, but I ended up making it, thank goodness. And so I'm in the trucking business. I have been for about 9 years. The reason I'm running, I'll tell you what, I can just be honest. I don't want to say the wrong things or the right things, but I tell you, when we moved here a couple of years ago, and I got my voter's registration card, I looked at it and I saw what district I was in. We moved from Houston a couple of years ago. And I looked at my voter's registration card and I said, District 15. I figured that the way to ask any question, anything that was directly relevant to the area in which I live, was to ask my district representative. So I looked at it and I said, District 15. I could probably go on the internet and find out real quick who it was, but I want to ask the people that live here, who my rep is. And so I asked some people in the gym, and I asked them in the bank, and I asked my insurance agent, and I asked a lot of people around, and a lot of people said they didn't know, they weren't sure. And I thought that, I guess maybe a lot of people know him, but I couldn't find an office right away. I found an office, but I just think that all I have to offer is that, I'm a pretty good listener and a pretty good communicator, because I am like that with my employees, and I work about 20 people, and I have for, a good 6-7 years, and if we don't have, when my employees come to me, when they have a problem, they have to have a place to go, and I'm not saying that Eisler is not somebody you can't reach, but I just want to be a representative of the public. Somebody you can call, pick up the phone and say, within a short amount of time, say, hey, this is a problem, or this is what I want you to think about, this is what I want you to look at, and I can give you my opinion, or I can say, we need to talk more about it. So anyway, I'm probably babbling at this point, but I'll just let go, and if anybody has any questions, I'll start here.
Yeah. Okay, really I'd like kind of a continuation of your story. I would assume that you did eventually get in contact with Mr. Eisler. You did have some dialogue, something?
No, this started my, well, I met him. I did at the, when we pulled our names on the ballot in Congress, I think the first time I met you, and that was the first time I met him. I had figured that about December, I think, that I thought that I would run against him. I wasn't able to, and not that I didn't really have anything pressing, other than a couple of questions that I wanted to ask about, some particular transportation type, infrastructure type issues, and I never did ask him, I guess. I guess I just passed it and said, I want to run against him. So my thought process got a little off there.
So you came here when? How long have you been here?
We moved here. We sold our house in Houston in 2007, in May of 2007.
So what happened between the time you realized people don't know him and December? What have you done to, for this kind of work in that time?
Really not. I don't have much that I could hang my hat on. I haven't really been involved politically with any type of organizations, or I don't really have anything I could tell you, concretely that I have been involved in.
On the questionnaire, you had several questions that were, with your answers undecided.
Okay.
For example, number 9, 18, and 19, where state functions should be privatized, you say you're undecided about that. Supporting the fine of 1% of illegal companies, you're undecided about that. And term limits, you're undecided about that. And I was just curious on all three of them, what would it take for you to be decided on it?
Well, the first one, you know, and I really, you know, I'm not the smartest guy. A lot of times I have to think about, you know, about how, you know, I really have to think about a question a lot before I answer it. You know, I don't want to give the wrong answer. And this number 9, I said that, you know, it's possibly that some things should be privatized, and I would just need a specific example. But I think that anything that would be that one specifically, if there was something that the private sector could probably do better, I think that it would, you know, if there was proof showing that, you know, that the private industry could do something better than obviously the government, which is probably a lot of things, then I would probably go for it.
For example, like, I don't know, healthcare.
Yeah, you know, we pay pretty high healthcare premiums being self-employed, and we don't get a lot for it. And I think that I think that the government, if they were in charge of our regular health visits, it just might be a catastrophe. I just don't think that they manage. I was reading the other day about Social Security and how this was, the Social Security system was set up about 75 years ago, and they say it's going to be broke by 2010. So, you know, in 80 or I don't know, I'm not exactly sure what year it was, but in 80 or 90 years, if this system is going to, if it's going to break, and the government's going to watch it break, you know, then healthcare will probably follow the same thing. I think if the government were to get into doing that, it'll, I think, mess up later in the future.
Have you had a chance to actually read the healthcare bill?
I haven't, no, ma'am.
I think you might.
I'm sorry.
I think you might want to read it.
I think it would be. I think it would be interesting to read it, ma'am.
And then number 18, number 19, you're undecided about.
Yeah, I think number 18 I would probably support. I had to read the question, so I could say I would support number 18. Number 19, you know, I really wasn't sure, you know, when it said all, you know, I just wouldn't want an area to go with no representation, you know? I mean, I don't know how that would, I mean, would people run? Because, you know, one of the reasons I thought about running is because ICER hadn't been opposed a couple of times. And I thought that, you know, there's more people out there that have better ideas, or, you know, maybe not better, but different ideas. And if, you know, you kind of got in the same mode and kept doing the same thing, you might kind of keep getting the same result. So, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you a question. Obviously, you can possibly have some of his experience in politics and legislature. What are you going to do if you were elected? What are you going to do to make up for the fact that he does have that experience? How are you going to make up for the lack of experience?
I think the only thing I can say there is just listen and ask for advice. This business that I run now is, you know, I make decisions on a regular basis that I just have to ask for advice. I have a good support system, you know, a good family support system, you know, a real good banker, a real good insurance person. So I'm able to ask for advice and listen accordingly. So I think that, and even I said that, you know, probably that if he would be willing, I'd be glad to take some advice from him. And everybody else, the people that, the constituents could tell me, hey, we need to vote for this, and I could make a decision that, hey, this is going to work for us, or I think this won't, and that's how I'd vote.
Adrian?
Your opponent voted for all-day pre-K, childcare, I guess in the state system. Is that the proper role of government? What's your view on something like that?
You know, I don't know all the specifics about it, but I don't think paying for all-day daycare. I think that would be, like I said, I don't know all about it, but it just doesn't seem like that would be the proper role for our government to still be spending the money on.